So it's been over a year now since the notch has kind of been, moved away for the dynamic island, and I wanted to kind of make a quick little comparison between essentially some of the differences and what you're getting when you're going from a notch to a dynamic island, and if it's even worth the change. Now, I will tell you, it's been about, like I said, over a year, and a lot of things, we've had a lot of time for the dynamic island to kind of mature, and I definitely would say the dynamic island is probably better overall than the notch. I love how the dynamic island gives you more of the display technically, but on the flip side, the notch actually did not dip down as much as the dynamic island. Some of you may forget, but the notch actually was kind of more towards the top of the display. The dynamic island could actually technically cut into the display more than the notch. So although with the dynamic island it's more of a hole punch display, it was still something that, some people may actually just kind of, look at the notch and kind of forget about, whereas on the dynamic island it kind of sticks down a little bit more. It's not a big deal, but just kind of one of those small things. Now, the dynamic island is definitely giving you more features overall than the notch. So with the notch, it's a stagnant, specific, hardware piece. It doesn't change, it doesn't move, it doesn't give you any more features. It stays pretty much exactly as it is. Now, I don't think that's a big deal from the iPhone 10 all the way up until basically the iPhone, the iPhone 14s. All of our iPhones except for the Pro Max, 14 Pro Max, except those iPhones, we did end up having, notches on all of them. And I think that's a understandable thing. It's completely okay. We get what we paid for. And with an iPhone like that, you would expect to get a notch. But you were not getting any extra features with that notch. It didn't give you anything. It was a stagnant piece. You couldn't even touch it. It gave you nothing. With that dynamic island, on the other hand, this gives you a little bit more of an immersive experience. And the thing I like a lot about that dynamic island is that it does actually give you more features. So for one, you're getting those notifications. So those dynamic notifications, which will essentially kind of let you know in real time, essentially little pop-ups that kind of happen within your display. This is a very, very cool thing. And this is actually something that I liked a lot about the, iPhone Pro Max and the iPhone 15, iPhone 15 Pro, and all the iPhone 15s with dynamic islands. They actually do give you kind of a little bit more feature set with those, dynamic islands. So if you're going through and you're actually looking at your specific, dynamic island, if you're within a certain, application or whatever, you would actually see that, the dynamic island will kind of, move, it will kind of expand and show you those notifications. And you can also get live notifications within those dynamic islands. So if you want, you could go ahead and see if something's going on, if you get a text or whatever, you could basically see all that information right there, which is genuinely actually so cool. And that's something that not necessarily a ton of phones actually give you. Of course, it's kind of more of like a turnaround feature. Basically, it's like something Apple kind of had to make and engineer. It'd be better to not even have it in the first place, but at least you're getting some sort of features with it. With the iPhones, like with the, standard notch iPhones, you're not really getting those types of capabilities. You're getting just a notch there, just sticking into the display, and it doesn't really give you anything else extra. So that's why personally, I actually do prefer and like a phone that has a dynamic island, but I will say for a majority of things, it wouldn't be the reason why I would upgrade my phone. So you are getting a little bit better of a, so usually with, iPhones that have notches, they're going to be better performing. They're going to be newer phones usually, but I wouldn't upgrade from a notched iPhone to a dynamic island iPhone just because of the dynamic island. I don't think it's that big of a change. And I'd probably recommend just keeping your iPhone if it's an older one that has a notch, if it's still a very good performing iPhone and if you're completely comfortable with it. So it's just one of those things to keep in mind. Again, it wouldn't be the reason I'd upgrade, but if you want a newer iPhone, I would definitely say go for it. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.